sorry. Go ahead with
No, so she always made sure that she was doing these little things to take care of. Like, she had my favorite protein bar, my favorite drink, like all these things that said, like, I really like you. And then she like verbalized the complete opposite. It just caught me off guard, man. I totally never saw it coming.
Ooh.
And the thing was, I tried not letting her, I didn't even want to go out with her. Like, I remember the first time we had sex, like I had to close my eyes because I was so unattracted to like this mom whose tits are down, her belly button's like equal to her breast line. You know what I'm saying? Like, looks like a roll of quarters in a sock, just like swinging around, you know what I'm saying? And it's
the
like,
mom belly.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And I was like, I'm 45 now. This is just kind of like what 40-year-old bodies look like, But dude, I usually bounce around with like 25-year-olds, so that's the thing, But there's a problem with 25-year-olds too that 40-year-olds don't have. Like, there's a maturity thing. So you can't have it both ways. Either you're gonna have a nice body and an immature personality, or a mature personality and a not so nice body.
You need a real good Christian 33-year-old.
Yeah, dude, I'll take it. But that's why I'm moving to Thailand. I'm telling you, I've done the research. If it's not Thailand, it's Da Nang, Vietnam. I'm telling you, I'm going there.
I know somebody very recently who went to Vietnam as a vacation.
What'd they think?
Amazing.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
And then they just got back from Japan.
Oh, yeah. Japan I lived in Japan for 3 years. Great place. It's just more expensive than these
from
other
the military?
Yeah. When I was in the military, which I didn't have a cost of living. I lived in the barracks. So, but these other places I'm talking like I spend hours upon hours like researching this shit, to figure out. I'm not just like going across the world, like, put a pin in it and just pretend like I don't know what, just figure out when I get there. No, I'm like, make a plan,
Yeah, well, it's not something that's just a you thought. We literally just had a couple kids in here not too long ago. They're day traders, and that's what they wanted to do was maybe move to Thailand.
Tell me about day trading.
I don't know much about it. This guy probably knows more. Basically, you're just trying to like get in and out real early in the morning. You're trying to capitalize off that first rise.
It always seemed like such a guess.
Well,
NFTs, day trading.
Whatever happened to NFTs? Are those still around?
Yeah.
Doing good?
Yeah. Do you remember the Hawk Tui girl that had the NFT scandal?
Yeah,
the Hawk Tui.
And then what'd she do? She dumped her whole Bitcoin?
Yeah, did the rug and pull thing or whatever. Yeah, dude. She pulled her portfolio, and so it like basically bottomed out. Like, people lost like a lot of money.
She went into hiding for a while, but I saw her surface a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, her claim to fame was talking about spitting on a dick. I mean, she got famous off that. Like, when I talk about spitting on a dick, no one listens to me.
Well, I don't know. That clip was what the best and the worst parts about what living in 2025 is like.
Jesus Christ,
it's so funny and so amazing that you can put a clip out there talking about spitting during a blowjob and become an overnight millionaire.
Yeah.
But it's also the worst thing possible in 2025 that you can talk about spitting during a blowjob and getting millions of dollars.
Let me just tell you about social media from my perspective. It's a finicky thing. So I got into real estate, right, as just something to do. And I found out I was pretty good at it. They say it takes 6 months to get your first sale. I got it in 6 days, closing my first house in 6 days. So I started this TikTok. I started a TikTok and an Instagram. My Instagram was Ken the Rookie Realtor. You can look me up. And my TikTok was luxury listing. So on the Instagram, I played this persona of this rookie realtor that didn't know his ass from his elbow, which was the truth. I couldn't stomach trying to pretend something I was not, like trying to pretend like I'm some sophisticated like real estate mogul. Like, it just didn't set well with me. So I played the angle of being a rookie realtor. I didn't know what the hell he was doing, and it fit well. People really liked it. So I started this TikTok, is what primarily what we'll talk about, where I went into, it had to be at least $1 million house. I called it luxury listings. And I start with my iPhone 15 and a gimbal, and I'd walk through the house just in real time. And then I'd go back in and use CapCut, edit it, and I do speed ramps, and I'd make it this super cool to where you could basically just go and walk through this super fancy house that you're never going to be able to see. And, and I'd post my videos, and I'd get, a couple hundred likes, no saves, no favorites, none of that shit. And slowly from there, it evolved to where I went to this freaking $2 million business, or this $2 million loft downtown Kansas City. And when I got there, I almost didn't record that day because I was so disappointed on, what this thing, I was so excited because it was my first $2 million house I got to go to. And it was such a dump. I couldn't believe that this shit was on the market for $2 million. So I almost left, but I was like, okay, just record it. So the girl that we were just talking about that dumped me, or I dumped her or whatever, she said, well, why don't you roast this property? So I did a voiceover, And I said shit like, if this is luxury, then, you know, Taco Bell deserves a Michelin star. You know, if this is luxury, then my lower middle class girlfriend's bungalow is a castle. You know, she deserves a crown. And this shit got 350,000 views, right? For me roasting this fucking place. It got so many views that it got somehow in the front of the realtor that was representing the client. And they wrote the Missouri Real Estate Commission and complained that I was hurting their ability to sell this house, and I got this fucking like red strike against me. I had to pull the video down, dude. And so it was exciting and scary. You know, here I am, this new realtor, and I'm already getting like, you know, fucking the sanction by the state, like I just did something wrong, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, holy shit, people love negativity. So I would start from there on out, dude. I'd go in these $1 million places and I'd roast them, dude. I'd make fun of the fact that they have 3 kitchens, fucking 7 refrigerators, 9 bathrooms. I started just roasting the hell out of things, dude. And it went from like 300,000 views to 1 million views, and just grew and grew and grew. By my 10th video, dude, I'm viral every single time. I'd like crack the code, dude. But the funny thing is like I had all these followers, saves, favorites. Like it's almost like a drug, man. When you log in, you see like pages of just comments, dude. You got like, I made myself a promise I would like keep up with every comment. It gets pretty hard to do after a while, but dude, I got like this dopamine release off of like, you know, like this and that. But then my brokerage, I was with Keller Williams at the time, and the broker, she was like this 70-year-old lady. She didn't like my commentary, you know, because I'd be like, you know, I would only say stuff like, you know, with 9 bathrooms, they must really like privacy. With 9 bathrooms, they, you know, they can choose one every day of the week and still have a couple left over. Just like stupid generic. Dude, ChatGPT gave me all my one-liners. Okay, I would like go through and I'd like tell ChatGPT about the layout of the house. You know, this one house I just did was $10 million, and it had a fish tank in the kitchen that was, you know, and I made some crazy comment
Fresh
about
fish.
Yeah, you know, yeah, something like that. Yeah, they were sexualized, but she did not like the way it represented the brokerage. So I got fucking kicked out of this brokerage I was selling for. So here I am getting hundreds of thousands of views, but one person doesn't like this shit, and there goes I don't want to say my career, but there goes I'm not selling houses for this company anymore. I got asked to leave. I had to go to a different, you know, company, which I did. They didn't care. They thought I was like a rock star. Like, here's this guy that's been doing real estate for a year, and he's got 400,000 followers, you know, and gets million. Yeah, come show our houses, please, you know.
And I want to be with those guys that realize how fucking cool.
Yeah, and it was cool, but it was fun. You know, like you're not invincible, man. Like they're going to be haters out there. So you can have like a large following, and then just someone just isn't like, they don't like your content, man. And I think that's just life, though. Wouldn't you agree? Not everyone's going to like what you're doing.
No, yeah, we just had a guy in here. I keep saying that shit over and over, but we did, and he's a fitness influencer, and he was telling us, same thing, dude. Like, if you're nervous to post it, that's the one you post.
Yes.
Don't post the one that you're not nervous about posting.
Yeah.
You need that engagement.
Yeah, the engagement. I'm telling you, it is a drug. It is. I'm telling you, it'll hook you in so hard. Because that was what, like I said, I did all those videos leading up to it, and I'd get likes and stuff. But when you start getting like the comments, the shares, the resends, and like people are like, you know, now when I post a video, I'll be like, I'll go through a $10 million house and I'll do like a little like teaser, and I'll be like, whoever can guess what this person does for a living, I'll send you a gift card for a steak dinner, and I'll get 100 fucking, like in 20 minutes, I'll get 100 comments. Like, you know, you get stupid guesses, funny guesses. Sometimes a couple times they guess the right thing. I sent out a couple gift cards, you know, it costs you a little money, but I don't know, dude. I don't have it all figured out, but dude, there's something to be said about engagement in social media. Like when you can get to a point where the people are interacting with you regularly, that's where you're doing something right.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's sad too is, obviously you're a little bit older than I am, but I'm sure you remember like dial-up and the infancy in that. And I'm really grateful that I got to experience that, because it at least gave me a little bit of a perspective. Like, I meet 20-year-old kids at my job all the time, and they're like, what do you mean dial-up? And they don't realize, like, oh, you've got to load a music video in the morning when you leave for school, and when you get home, you might be able to watch that full 4-minute video.
It might be up. Yeah. I got trained in computers when I was in the military, but this is in 98. This is when dial-up's just happening. And I saw no future in computers when you had to do the dial-up thing, where you would turn on your AOL and you go get a cup of coffee and come back and your mail's still loading. I was like, this is never going to take off. So I totally abandoned every bit of training I ever got. I wish I had paid attention now, because computers are the thing. But back then I didn't see it, man. I just thought there's no way this technology is ever going to take off, because it wasn't going anywhere. It really didn't feel like it.
Well, what sucks is that, you know, a lot of people have said, they haven't really said it directly to me, but I know the conversation is, oh, a podcast, another podcast. Well, there's 2 points to that. Is one, I used to do a podcast, a couple of them in my basement because they're so fun.
Yeah, I love podcasts.
They're like kind of intimate, and you put the headphones on, and it's very therapeutic. But then the second thing is, I tell people, yeah, the podcast market is saturated, but so is the listening market.
Yeah.
The listening market is saturated, and I think that in 5 to 10 years, you just have to fall into this to be you can stay off of it if you want. It's a different way of life, but you can't be like half in, half out. If you're going to be on social media, you need to create a personality, because in 10 years, they're not going to say, Ken, where's your resume? They're going to say, oh, here's his personality. He's got politics on X. He's got a video archive on YouTube where I can listen and really hear what this guy's about over 20, 30 hours of, podcast. Yeah. I think that everybody is unfortunately going to just be a personality with AI and with the internet.
Oh, for sure.
And that's going to be how you meet and network with people, is to see what they were able to do.
Absolutely.
As far as subduing themselves into this realm.
I think the fact that you're doing a podcast is amazing, because not everyone has the balls to do it, first of all. Secondly, I listen to a shit ton of podcasts. I spend an hour a day on the treadmill doing cardio. I need something to entertain my time. So if I can tune into a podcast where there's just a good conversation going, it makes you feel like you're third party to that. You're just sitting in and listening to 2 people talk, or 3 or 6 or whatever. So dude, no, podcasts are where it's at. And you're right. Now when I go on job interviews, at least in real estate, they want to know what your social media following looks like. They want you to log into your social media right in front of them and show them like how many viewers.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like a part of your resume. Like they want to see what you have social media wise going on. So like it's a real thing.
That sucks, but it's the most effective thing for them, probably.
It is.
And
you're
so
right,
if you're not going to take that serious, why do they want you? Because you're a good old school guy.
Yeah. No, it's changed so much. It's changed so much. Like you have to have a following now to, like, if you really want to have some prestige and power. But the thing I'm telling you with podcasts, it's time over consistency, or consistency over time. You got to keep on posting, and you got to do it for 5 years. Yeah. Even Joe Rogan didn't get famous overnight. I mean, yeah, he grew exponentially. He's the most followed podcaster out there. But even his podcast, like some of the episodes, dude, I'll watch like 7 minutes of it, and I'm like, I don't care about aliens, or some of the people he interviews. Like, I
how
give
dare
you? I mean, that's fine. To each is their own, but just some of it's just like way too much for me, man. Like, I don't know. I don't listen to it all. I don't know. But like when he does little shorts, and I catch a short that I like, then I'll tune in for the long form. But I like Joe Rogan.
You know what's crazy about him is that he proclaims that he doesn't make any shorts. So anytime you see a JRE short, it's something that someone else has made.
Really?
All he does is post the episode in full on his platform, and then he is allowed to post most of it on YouTube now, because there was a little hiccup during the Biden admin when they were doing the censoring and the disinformation, where he got pulled.
Really?
Yeah, he got pulled for having Dr. Robert Malone on, who has like several patents for mRNA vaccines. And they had disinformation. There's like 2 other, disinformation, malinformation. I think there's one more. But YouTube censored those guys, and now they are letting you back on. But the problem with YouTube now is the copyrights. So if you even hum part of a song, and it picks it up enough, they can block that hum in your video.
Yeah.
Not kidding. A fucking hum.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. But now he does post back on there. I guess the point was, it's crazy the pull he has, because he has no hustle. Records, uploads, everybody just copies the clips, because I make, Noah's Reviews YouTube. Now I'm just posting other people's clips and talking over them. And sure, some might get pulled.
Yeah.
But I just start a new channel and monetize it. And I'm getting millions of views on other people's content.
Yeah. No, you could start your own YouTube channel just like commenting off the shit that he does,
You can start a faceless. If you have the hustle in you, you can start a faceless YouTube channel and probably make money in a couple of years.
For sure. Yeah. Especially if you know how to use AI and all that clever shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think podcasting is a great thing. I'm glad you do it. Even being in your position where I'm interviewing, you meet a lot of interesting people, and it's amazing what you can learn about somebody when you put a microphone in their face and let them talk.
It could be the opposite too, though. I've had a lot of people and I'm kind of nervous with some of these people. So for them, I can't imagine, I don't want to downplay what it is. This is an incredible space, and I think we've done a really good job. But like, to me, it's coming in and it's a hobby. But some of these people, they walk in the door, they see the logo on the door, and you can tell, yep. So when did you start, you know, and you gotta, so I am still learning about how to get them to kind of open up and realize, like, headphones are unique. It makes the experience cool, but we're still just talking.
You just got to go in there and you got to grab the people with the most interesting stories, dude. That's why I would get like a freaking OnlyFans model and I'd interview her. Like anything that just seemed like taboo or wildly clever, I would grab them in a heartbeat. Like I never had trouble getting people to come on my podcast. Like you just got to ask.
Yeah. They like it.
Oh, yeah. People love, they know, they want a microphone. I'm like, here I am. I'm doing the same thing, you know?
Even if they're nervous, they like it. And I like giving them the opportunity. Like there's some people that I've brought in here who, most of them, they go, why would you want to have me on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're a fucking awesome person and you do awesome stuff. And I want to talk to you about it because you deserve to have
that was
discourse
big. That was that
about
Big
it.
Daddy guy you had on your, like when I hit him up and said, hey, I want you to go on my friend's podcast. He's like, what do I have to? I'm like, dude, I've heard your stories, bro. Like you fucking have a private jet. You fly back and forth to Vegas and hang out with rich people. Like all this. I'm like, dude, how could you not, like, you're not the average guy.
You're the exact person we want.
Like, yeah. But you know, the crazy thing about, like, and I've been around that guy intimately, nothing bad to say about him, but man, he's got all the money in the world. He's got everything like materialistically, but he's kind of a lonely guy. He's like yearning. He wants his like young hot model wife, and he's just not. I mean, he's just not getting it. Like he's not Donald Trump. He doesn't have like you know fucking snowy day or whatever that person, you know, like the porn star character wanting to sleep with him. He doesn't have that in his life. So he's got all this money in the world. He travels all over the world. He makes tens of thousands. You know, super fancy bougie house, and the one thing he wants he does not have is a little bit of romance.
Well, you know, one thing I learned about him, because I was curious about that, is he was married before.
Yes.
So
he's got a daughter.
And he's got kids.
Yeah.
You know, but is that some of that just, I guess you know it because you know him intimately, you said, but like sometimes when I look at somebody and I think maybe they're lonely, maybe that's my own, like, I don't know, narcissistic.
Oh, totally.
Like,
You're absolutely right. He could buy a hooker
fine.
7 days of the week. I'm sure. I have no doubt he is well taken care of, and I mean that respectfully, Big Daddy. No, yeah, that's just me looking at it and feeling lonely for him, like me being lonely, because I can't afford a hooker a week, not yet, at least.
Yeah, but even if you could, you don't get a lot of it. I don't know. That sex isn't all it's cut up to be, you know.
No, not
cut
really.
out to be.
No, not like it was when you were like 16.
Yeah, sometimes I just need someone to be home when I get home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't really need them to be naked.
No. It gets worse the older you get, just so you know.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
No, I'm just letting you know right now. Like, so I put myself back in the market. Like, I despise online dating. Like, I usually meet people organically. I think online dating is just like, if it's so effective, why is 52% of the population still single? Why are there 300 million people on dating and it's still like the outcome's like terrible? Now, if you're a woman, you're set.
Yeah, well, maybe you're in a much better position.
You're sure getting a lot more likes and hit. Like, you definitely get the creme of the creme. Like a fucking 2 out of 10 woman can have like an 8 out of 10 guy. If you're a 2 out of 10 guy, there's no hope for you. You're screwed. Like, you know, even if you're an 8 out of 10 guy, you're competing with all this, you know, I don't know. It's just it's a weird place. I try to stay out of it, but I got back into it. And now when I go out with women, like the metric of a good first date was whether or not I got laid. You know, now it's like, can I make it through the date? You know, like just because I'm set in my ways. If red flags just pop up so quickly, like shit starts happening during the date, like I'm out. Like I'm going to go hang out with my dog.
What's your go-to, man? Are you a nice, like, restaurant dinner, cut it off after that type of thing?
Totally. Yeah, that's where it's at.
I'm still kind of in the age where girls want to, like, go do stuff.
Yeah, and that's
like,
good. Like, yeah. Like, I used to go, like,
golf.
I was going to say, I used to go top golf. I used to top golf like crazy. I used to do top golfing. But the thing about it is like, dude, I don't want to go spend $120 top golfing with some chick that I may not like. And it becomes like, it's not about, I've not gotten more broke as I've gotten older. I've gotten better financially, but it's like, do I want to spend this much money on somebody, you know? So like, you know, but I guess you'll spend $100 on dinner either way. I don't know. I look for something that's got the easiest way for me to get out of the conversation. Like, dude, there's been more than a handful of times where I've left some pretty good looking women like sitting at the dinner table by themselves just because It just wasn't there. I know now.
You just go to the bathroom?
I mean, I let them know. I don't ghost you. I'm letting you know, like, I'm leaving. You know?
Do you leave them the bill?
No.
Or
I'll cover the bill.
For the bill?
I'll cover the bill.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say, so the first ever online date that I ever went on, I got catfished. My very first one. It was with Bumble. Never been on a fucking online date before, and I learned a valuable lesson that day. Guys, listen to this if you're on there. If there's not a full body picture on that profile, don't go out with them. If there's some cute, clever angle to where the photo is just like got their face and, you know, you don't see much more than that. This chick had a beautiful face. I thought, God, she's so beautiful. Dude, I'm sitting at this restaurant, this nice restaurant, and walks this gal that's 400 pounds easily.
No.
Oh, yeah. And I was a gentleman. I like stayed for the whole date. And I remember her asking me if I would like take her and her daughter to like the pumpkin patch or some shit like the next day or something. And that's when I was like, no, thank you. And then she turned out to be like this multi-million-dollar realtor that makes this buco money. And it's like, yeah. Like thought, like, could I reach back out?
She could have got GLP-1.
Yeah,
easy with that kind of.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, with that kind of income, she doesn't know any better. You know, yeah, God,
story of your life, fucking it up.
Well, maybe it's not over yet. We're followers of each other. Like maybe I'll reach out to her and I'll just like. But how do you work that into a conversation? Like, hey, I'd like to take you out again, but let me tell you about trizipatide. You know.
Yeah, dude. Maybe just show up with it. Set the expectations early, dude. You know, here's an auto-injector.
Yeah.
Here's a few cc's of semaglutide. And honestly, call me in 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, definitely, though, if she's out there, just have her listen to your true thoughts on the Solve4y podcast.
Yeah.
And then maybe she'll know your expectations.
I don't know. What's your female audience look like?
I'm sure it's trash. we barely have an audience,
let
alone a female.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. I was recalling something, and I don't know if it's my brain making it up. Did you get stabbed?
I did, yes.
At Mast?
Yes, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, 9 times in the gut.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like just prison shanked, like violently, like over and over and over again. Like it was.
You feel comfortable talking about it?
Sure. Yeah, it's been a long time ago. It was 2004. Yeah. Oh, we were on a call, and a fight broke out. And here I'm like back in my 20s. I'm like 260 pounds, 20-inch arms, like this beefy, monstery guy. And I thought I could handle these 2 motherfuckers fighting each other. I put one of them in a headlock and got my arm out for the other one. And the motherfucker I had a headlock took a damn, I don't know if it was a screwdriver or an ice pick, some sharp object. And I felt that first poke, and then there was 9 more. I mean, it was so fast. And I remember us separating. And I'm looking down, and like there's this moment where like, the realization that like, oh my God, that this just really happened, you know? And then it seemed like a lifetime, but then the fire set, like your body's got blood in it everywhere, but when it starts going to places it wasn't designed to go to, like you start poking holes in the shit and shit starts seeping out, it's like you're on fire. And then like, then slowly like bleeding out. Like by the time they got to me, like I looked like I was 9 months pregnant, and I had like bilateral like ecchymosis, like both sides were like just black, you know, like this huge gut laying in the ground. I remember it started raining, and it was a horrible experience. But the worst part wasn't getting stabbed. That happened so quickly. The worst part was all the fucking surgeries I had to have. Like my first, it was at Truman. If you're going to get stabbed, go to Truman Medical Center. Because, you know, I remember that's the first time I ever had a finger stick up my ass either. I'd never been introduced to like the whole fucking finger up the ass thing until I'm like,
a little rectal tone.
Yeah. There's like 12 people in the room, and they're like doing rectal tone checks on me. And it came back negative for what, you know, they were looking for bleeding. But yeah, then I wake up.
Testing for HIV.
I wake up, and dude, I've got 52 staples down my gut. They had cut me open, pulled all my intestines out. I had liver laceration, and, you know, they're going there like, repair everything. And then I had a surgery, God, twice a year for like 5 years. It was so horrible.
On what?
Well, something would fucking
I'm sorry, you said it's your liver?
My liver and my intestines. So like, you know, like after the first one, they went in, they missed a bleed in the liver, so 2 days they had to go back in because I bled out. My hemoglobin was like fucking 4.9. Some crazy, like I'm like seeing stars, like you having a hemoglobin that like I was like didn't know what was wrong with me. It was something. The pain was excruciating. Like someone would come put their diaphragm on their stethoscope in my gut, and I'd bounce out of that bed. I could be dead asleep, and they'd come in to try to listen to my bowel sounds, touch my belly, and I'd come unglued. And they couldn't figure out. The doctor had ordered a KUB on the stomach, and then canceled it for some reason. Like it was just all fucked up. They missed a bleed, so then they go back.
What's
in.
a KUB?
Kidney, urinary, and bladder scan. If they've just done the damn scan, they would have saw that I was bleeding out still, that they missed a bleed, you know. So I almost died from them missing like a shank or a stab wound. And then a year later, I'm fucking hanging out being cool, and I got this stomach ache that out of nowhere, and there was it had gotten scar tissue across some adhesions, caused an obstruction of the bowel, twists. So I had to have a resection of the bowel. Like just kept on having all these complications, dude. So I'd go from being this big bodybuilder at 50 pounds to this guy that looked like he was on AIDS at like 170 pounds because I couldn't eat for like 30, 60, 90 days at a time. Like I'd having this tube up my nose, and I was horrible. It went on for years, man. Years and years and years. Like, yeah.
So what happened with work at that time?
You know, they were good. They were good to me. I didn't come back right away. That was for sure. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I definitely developed a little PTSD. Like people getting close to me, man. Like I definitely like would get a little bit of like a sweat and like I just very untrusting of people. But I jumped back into it. It took me a little bit though. But yeah. All over a fight that had nothing to do with me, and someone almost ended my life over a misunderstanding. The stupid fucking thing is they never caught the guy.
Wow.
He got away.
That's horrible. Yeah. Well, maybe he's in prison for something else.
I don't know.
Hopefully.
That happened a long time ago. But yeah.
What year do you think this was?
This was April 24th, 2004. At like 9:20 in the evening.
So had you already been in the military at this point?
Yeah, I thought I was like invincible, man. Like no one can take me. I'm I thought I was Superman, you know. It'll peel back the layer of looks on life and make you question everything you know about yourself. You're not invincible. I'm telling you, when you're young and dumb, you think like you're just bulletproof, and you're not.
Yeah, a lot of us are walking around kind of cavalier.
Well, yeah, especially when you work in the field of like emergency medicine. You rub elbow, you do some crazy stuff, man. I'm sure you've got a couple calls where you just see some really crazy things, and you gotta block it out, like how crazy it is, and you just like act like nothing's wrong, like you just walk through it like no big deal. And there's a lot of times where shit's going, falling apart all around you.
Yeah. Well, and you also get this false sense of security because you are in the ambulance or the fire truck, and so you kind of have this weird, it's like an objective protection, it's real, like the community sees you differently.
Oh yeah.
And they also, like, people who might be crime committers, they are less, they're not going to do that usually to public safety. Cops live in a weird window where they get aggressed upon, but they also have people who respect them even though they're crime committers or
I'll tell you what I do remember distinctly. The whole world shows up when an EMS provider gets hurt. I'm talking the whole world. Like Signal 10 is what it was called back then. That was their emergency code that they said for, there's an injury, whatever, a cop down. It was Signal 10 is what there was three fire trucks, 3 ambulances and 27 cop cars. I mean, the whole world showed up very quickly,
So did the guy just run? Or how did
no
he get
idea
away?
When like I said, literally when he stabbed me, we broke contact, and I'm like looking, just looking at my shirt just starting to go like bleeding red, and it literally just so happened to start raining. I remember like the raindrops like washing the blood off it is just like some shit out of a movie, like going in slow time, and then you're laying there and you hear the sirens coming, and you're like, fuck, man, am I gonna die before is this it? And then you're like processing life, like, and you realize all the shit you did wrong, like all the stuff that you thought was so important, you realize in this moment like you got it wrong. And then I wish all those things I had in my mind had stuck with me for the next 20 years, but they only lasted so long before I took them for granted again. And I'm out doing the same thing I was doing before. Like I didn't have like this profound life change. It just didn't happen. I wish I could say it did.
But you did for a little bit?
For a little bit. Oh yeah. I had a very profound change for a very brief period of time, and then I just went back to being a normal human being.
Well, one thing I've been looking at, we had a couple people, and my therapist talks about like reconstructing the central nervous system and how you really have to be on a complete linear rise, correct things, doing everything for 21 days to start that new synapse, or and so you could see how that's put you back to zero where you are. You have a new lease on life, but then you start doing the wrong things. Maybe you just do it 3 days in a row, but then you do it 2 weeks, and then eventually you've reconstructed the pathways again, and now they're back to how you were before.
Well, yeah, it's so easy to go back to your old habits. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens quicker than even now. Like not even related to that, but just fitness. I can go to the gym 30 days in a row, and then if I take 2 days off, it derails my whole progress. Now I'm fighting myself to get up in the morning when I went 30 days in a row. You know, by day 30, I'm jumping out of bed before the alarm goes off, and then I take 2 days off, and I'm back to like fighting myself in the mornings. You gotta stay super disciplined in life, man. There's no rest. You can't be weary, and I don't know. At least for me, I think structure and discipline and just having an agenda every day works for me. I don't know how it works for everybody, but I've got to have like a time frame. You know, I'm in the gym from 6 to 7:30. In the office by 9, there till 2, doing, you know, I've like my whole day is like pretty much the same every day. You can set your clock to like how I'm spending my time, you know.
Yeah, it's weird now. Your phone even knows what you're doing.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, you
get in there,
you're driving.
Like, yeah, it tells you where you're going next. You know, like son of a bitch.
I got in the car yesterday, and it was like time to go get groceries. You're headed to Walmart, and I'm like, fuck off. No way you know this.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Yeah, it knows exactly where I'm headed.
Well, it's amazing what AI knows about you too, man. Like, dude, AI does. It's so much. It's crazy what that stuff will know about you. Like, it literally does. Ask your AI sometime to like give a summary of who you are, and see what it comes back with, man.
I asked it, and it told me my aspirations.
It's amazing.
It said like this guy is a like wannabe political commentator, like a podcaster, and I'm like, how the hell did you know this?
Yeah. So are you wanting to get into politics?
No, I just was in it for a little while.
Yeah.
I love it, but it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah.
I did take a break recently.
From politics?
Big break. Yeah. I was really into it. This show, Solve4y, was going to be called Solving4y.
Okay.
And it was going to be like, I was just going to do it from my kitchen table, basically. Just try to do like 40, like what we were talking about, 45 minutes a day, just give some opinions, just try to get some time on the mic, some time on the camera, and also work on my speech, develop those kind of things. And then we decided to do this and interview people, and we were writing out the Solving4y logo. And the G4Y looks like solving gay. So we changed it to Solve4y, and that's, you know, a little snippet there.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, your question was politics. Yeah, I'm real into it, man. I love watching all the hot right-wing conservatives just because, you know, that's what I'm into. They get my blood going.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
But I've realized over the last couple weeks, it takes a toll on you, man. It takes a toll on you. Like, I've even started a podcast that normally I'd be stoked to watch, like a new Tucker or something, and I had to be like, no, I gotta go watch, you know, some comedian on Joe Rogan because I'm not in the mood to listen to this right now.
Well, especially if it's your own podcast that you can't listen to, that's not good.
Yeah.
If you're recording a podcast and you don't want to listen to it,
that's a good point.
That's not a good sign. I've had episodes like that where I didn't even want to listen to the podcast, and you know it's not one that you should be posting.
Yeah. You got to post them anyway.
You do, because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
And that's like showing a little bit of vulnerability, you know, because you're posting something maybe you're not totally proud of, or maybe the narrative didn't flow, but now that's out there.
Well, you got to have that consistency. I see your podcast post up on social media all the time. I click on them. I listen to them.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a neat thing.
I was going to ask you, was it pretty surreal when you saw that Graham Hoffman had got stabbed? You know, working for essentially the same
I could definitely relate. Just placement. Like he got stabbed like in the torso or the neck or something like that.
He got stabbed in the heart.
Yeah, or some. You know, he was a one shot, one kill type guy. Like it was, you know, it's just a realization that I just got lucky. The guy got me in the meaty part of the belly.
Right.
You know?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. No.
Like,
it was a close call. Totally. Oh, it could have. Like, it was a close brush with death. Yeah. I survived, but dude, I mean, it was not like without, no one was sure what was going to happen. They couldn't even take me in surgery right away because my blood volume was so low. They had a transfusion, 2 units of blood. They're giving me 150 of fentanyl every hour, because it's just like you're on fire. Like it burns so bad, like just bleeding to death. It's so painful. It's so painful. Yeah, it is.
I hope I never know.
And then all my family coming through, having the bishop or the padre or whatever deity was there doing last rites and stuff. Oh, it was all real. It came in flashes though, because you're like in and out. They give you that fentanyl and you're just like, I totally could see why people get addicted to that shit. Like, if you're going to die, like, give me some fentanyl. It makes it so much more convenient to die. I'm just saying, anybody who's dying, get some fentanyl.
Yeah, some ketamine and some hydromorphone.
Yeah, ketamine too. Yeah, I did some ketamine trials. I don't know if you
did too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, we can talk about that.
What did you think?
Oh, my gosh. I went to this psychiatric office, and the military paid for it, thank God, because it's like $550 a session. So you got to be rich to do, like, at least where I went.
Yeah.
And so the psychiatrist, you sit down with them, and it was for me, my ketamine protocol was for like some resistant depression or, like just being depressed and not being able to shake it. I take a bunch of Zoloft and Effexor and all that other shit, and then you're still depressed like forever. And, so they're like, well, ketamine has therapeutic value to do this. And so, they start an IV on you and they infuse, I don't know, 100 milligrams, some amount of ketamine. And oh my God.
You got it IV?
IV. The ride was so amazing. They say ketamine has a low threshold for abuse. Baloney, man. Like, my first dose, I wanted 100 of them. Like,
that is baloney. I know multiple people who did it at the place I did it, and they were like, I'm enjoying this way too much.
Yeah.
And I know people from hanging out at the pool at my apartment complex. I've overheard multiple younger...
recreational ketamine?
Yeah. They order the pills online, and they take like a minute dose of whatever they get. They'll take like a half for like a social lubricant.
Okay.
And I've heard that from younger people.
Yeah,
so.
I saw that those advertisements for Mind Bloom or whatever. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's it helped me a lot. What did you, when you were under like the highest K-hole you had, what was going through your mind? Did you have visions?
It was taking me back to the night I got stabbed. It was replaying what could I have done differently. Yikes. Because like that, see, what we haven't talked about is that getting stabbed, that set me on the path to getting addicted to opiates. I had never had any drugs in my entire life. I'd never even smoked pot until I got stabbed. And then I got hit with all that fentanyl and morphine and Dilaudid, and then having like multiple surgeries, dude, like for like 18 months straight, I was on like narcotics nonstop. And it's such a, like, looking back now, you have this motility issue with your gut that's not digesting well enough anyway, and you're on high doses of narcotics, which is only complicating this whole. It was just like, it was kind of like, it was making the problem. Like, there was no simple solution. I got gut pain, and then I'm getting treated for the pain, and then my digestion's not working, and it became this vicious cycle. But I got so addicted to narcotics, like, before I even knew what it like. Like, without even, like, all of a sudden you go from never having something to like now, because those narcotics, like, it made getting stabbed like seem seamless, like no big deal. Like, life was great. Like, and then all of a sudden I'm hooked on them, and I'm freaking, like, not to the point where I'm like buying them on the street, but I'm like doctor shopping. And so that became a real thing. Like, I had to go and like get on Suboxone, and that took stuff. I was on Suboxone twice as long as I was fucking the narcotics. And so it set this whole thing into, like, it kind of completely altered the trajectory of my life. Here was this guy that never even smoked pot, never did anything, and now I'm a fucking dope fiend. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, it was horrible. It sucks. So I would go and do the ketamine so I could go back and like live this altered version of what life would look like. And that's why I kept going back, is because I got to like replay life, like what life would have looked like if I had never gotten stabbed. And I kept on going back to that narrative, because it was just, when you're under when you're under the ketamine or whatever, like, everything seems real. So I got to relive life again without being stabbed, and it was just, I enjoyed it. I loved the different variations of the life, the wife, the kid, like, all that, where I lost all that. Like, my wife left me during this time frame of getting addicted to narcotics. Like, everything bad that happened, ketamine made me like be able to go relive it as it never happened. So that's why I kept going back to it, is because I got to like live that little life that never is going to happen.
So did you have a healthy perspective coming out of it though?
I did.
It's because it sounds like you're talking a lot about, you liked it because it was giving you different perspectives. But once you were done with the trip or with the treatment, how was your mindset?
Depressed.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's the opposite.
Yeah. Depressed. I had just found a new pharmacological intervention to like make it good for you. It only lasts for about an hour, so you're not like getting like all day relief out of it. You got like an hour a day,
Yeah.
But it was the best hour of my day. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple hours for me, but I did it quite a bit different. I did The nasal spray?
The Spravato?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, if it all works the same, I'll do it.
I just imagine, like, I never had, like, a breakthrough complete visual hallucinations.
Oh, then you're missing out, dude. The K-hole is something else.
Well, the thing is I did, what you do is you do, like, 1 spray, 2 spray, 3, and then you do the 3 for, like, 6 weeks, and then they titrate you back down. I think I did it 3 or 4 times, but one of the times that I finally did the 3, I had like the worst experience of my entire life, but it was extremely beneficial. I felt like, I don't want to say this because it wasn't like this, but I felt so uncomfortable in my body that I would have liked to probably just kill myself.
Oh boy.
But not like I was suicidal, but like that's
you just
how
want the experience
terrible.
to be over.
Yes.
Yeah.
And luckily I couldn't move my legs, but it felt like someone was like pulling, like scratching a chalkboard nail type sound of a blanket off of me, and like they were pulling it out of my pores. But when I came out of it, I felt so balanced and like so relaxed and not tired. So I got through that, and it was a really beneficial experience. But while I was going through that, and they were basically like cleaving me of my disease, it was so bad, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that kind of means something else. It's been a couple years now.
It scared me, so I never completed the treatment.
Yeah.
But about 2 weeks after, we were talking about the neurons creating new ones, I think that started that process, because about 2 or 3 weeks after, I had never thought about having any marijuana or alcohol ever again.
You know, it did the same thing for me. Yeah, it did the same thing for me with drinking.
Yeah.
I didn't drink as much.
Yeah, and I wasn't like, I wouldn't call myself an alcoholic, but I was drinking way too much. Like, 30 beers, when that barely gets you drunk.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I had a problem. And for me to not even, like, think about it.
Yeah, well, let me ask
that,
you this. Was your 30 beer a night, is this why you're working as a paramedic?
Yeah, that's the thing, working injured.
Well, yeah, because that was, that was like another thing I kind of learned a little bit too late in life. Like, I didn't realize some of the like micro traumas that become like cumulative, like you get exposed to every day. And it starts out, where we'd be on the bus barn, the ambulance area, all of us getting our trunks, and we'd have like 1 or 2 beers in the parking lot before we'd leave work. And then it would turn into a couple beers there, and then let's go hit it all night after, because I work nights, and then we'd have went from having a couple beers a night to having 6 or 8 beers to going and having a cake, like very quickly, to where like in EMS, like I would work my ass off, get exposed to all this trauma, and then drink my ass off until it was time to like be hungover, do it again. Like it became like a very vicious cycle for a long time. Yeah.
No, definitely. Well, the days off too, like when you start thinking about it earlier and earlier each day, you get off shift and you're like, okay, start drinking tonight. And then it turns into 4, and then it's an afternoon beer, and then you're noon, and then you get home, and you're like, I'm going to have a couple get home beers.
Oh, totally. That was me. Yeah. Oh, shit. I'd have a couple before I'd go into the office. Like, I'd have fucking, like peel back my eyes and be all hungover, and I'd have a fucking shot or two just to go in. Like, oh, definitely. I never got to the point where I was drinking on shift, but definitely before shift, for sure.
Yeah, well, another crazy thing, too, is I can't imagine you were in the time period where, like, opiates were seen as real treatment. Yeah. And you're now prescribed them for a real condition and having to work. I mean, horrible, dude.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure. The realization, and I'm glad it happened, is I went on vacation somewhere, and I ran out of Oxycontin. Oxycontin in the early 2000s got marketed as like this safe alternative for long-term opiate use. And so it was like this safe narcotic. So I got put on Oxycontin, and my dosages started at like 10 milligrams 4 times a day. So 40 milligrams. Pretty soon I'm doing 320 milligrams a day. I'm doing 80s 3 times a day, or 240. So yeah, 380s a day, like in a very short, within a 6-month time frame. So I'm taking 380s a day. And then I went on vacation and I ran out. Like I just, I took, the extra one here, one there, and I'm out, and I got the withdrawals, the fucking sweats and the shits and like, and that's when I knew I had a problem. And that's when I went and got help. But Suboxone wasn't a much better. I don't know if you know much about Suboxone. Like,
I know about Suboxone.
Yeah, it's not a much better alternative, man. You're just trading one drug for the next.
It's almost the same thing.
Yeah. And so from there, here I got diagnosed with this opiate use disorder. And so this psychiatrist, this pain management psychiatrist that puts me on Suboxone, somewhere in his clinical assumptions, he's like, the reason you're abusing opiates is because you have ADD. And he puts me on Adderall. So there goes another 10 years of my life being hooked on the next best thing. Because the day they prescribed me Adderall, I never touched an opiate since then. I've never had an opiate.
Yeah, because you're doing meth.
Yeah. I got so hooked on Adderall. And so then it started out with, I had two doctors prescribe me 60. I was taking 430s a day, 120 milligrams of Adderall a day. Granted, I could work like 3 days straight, But dude, it took so much from me. I lost so many years of my life over. If I'd never gotten stabbed. Do you see like how it's like,
and then reliving that while you're on ketamine?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was horrible. It did teach me a lot about life. I mean, now I could say I'm substance free of everything. I don't take anything for and I have a lot of empathy. Like, I remember when I first got in EMS, we had this one guy that was overdosing all the time on heroin. And I used to show up and just be like, God, why can't this motherfucker like die? Like, we'd give him freaking, whatever the shit to reverse this.
Narcan.
Yeah, we'd reverse it. But I would just, in my mind, be like, why can't this guy just he was like, I knew his social security number by heart. Like, that's how often we ran him. And I remember just having like these ill feelings for him, and then like I kind of became that guy a little bit. Like, I was never doing heroin. I've never graduated that much, but I definitely graduated to like snorting my Oxycontin, and overdosing and stuff. So yeah, I became the thing that I never thought I would become, so like that full swing. It made me very empathetic. Like, so now if someone's got some shit going on in their life, dude, I am the least judgmental person. Like, you're not going to hear a peep out of me. I'm not talking shit. I might like talk you into like making some better choices because I know what life looks like on drugs and off drugs, and I'm telling you, if you're listening and you got a drug problem, life is way better without drugs than it is with. I don't give a shit. I had to go to rehab to get it figured out. Like, dude, try hitting timeout as an adult and going 6 months to a rehab because you got a problem. Like, it was one of the hardest choices I ever made in my life, but thank God I made it, because I would not be here today if I hadn't like gone to rehab and like kind of rediscovered myself and like got to a place where I could like just deal with whatever was going on and not need something to alter the way I felt,
Yeah, thank God, because I'm sure as well as everyone knows, so many people don't make it out. They don't make it home.
Oh God! Well,
they go to the heroin.
I still go to meetings, so I see people coming in with their first, getting their little white coin or their white 24 hours clean off of whatever, and seeing how fucked up their life is, and that's why I go to meetings. People are like, "Why you still get years? It's been years since you've used." Because I go to those meetings so I can look at that guy that's just coming off the street after 15 minutes clean, seeing how fucked up his life is, and that's not where I want to go back to. So I need that grim reminder every day, like how bad it's desperate. Now they've got shit you can get addicted to. It's like they sell in the gas stations. Have you heard about this 7-OH?
Oh, I know about 7-O.
Yeah, is that like a variant of kratom or some shit? Like,
yeah, it's basically it. There's 7-O and that Mitra ganja or whatever.
Yeah.
7-O is not totally prevalent, but it's like it does have super potent effects from the plant. But there's not a lot of it. It's more that Mitra ganja or whatever.
Yeah.
Mitra gain, I don't know. But the 7-O is that really potent amount that's barely in the plant. They found a way to extract that, and basically you're only getting that now. So yeah, it wasn't very strong in the plant, because there's only a titty in there.
Yeah.
But now they give you a liquid form that's just concentrated 7-O, and I'm sure it's just pressed with the worst shit. But yeah, I mean, I heard they're getting that all out of gas stations. I've taken some.
I thought I tried it too. No, I had to go try it. I mean, I'm an addict. I'm an addict at heart. I want to know. I want to know. I had to know.
So yeah, but I only used it a couple times because it gives you withdrawals after like a day of using it.
It does.
And that's when I was like, oh, this is. And the science at the time was actually like it was a pretty clean form. And now, just 6 months later, that's completely not the story.
I just remember the first time I took it, it was a drink called Feel Good.
In
the store, like 70 milligrams.
See, that's interesting, though, because that little blue bottle, the Feel
the blue
Good,
bottle, it
has also, like, kava in it, which is like, this guy who came in recently, too, it's like a Hawaiian root, and it's similar to kratom. Like, it produces some euphoria, but it's more like a legacy drink, like they drink it in their heritage and stuff.
I thought it was amazing.
But the Feel Good has the kava in there too, so I wonder like how bad that is.
Well, that's why I have a strict rule. If there's ever something out there where I have to have it more than once, I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, good.
And that was one of those rules. Like I tried it and I thought it felt so good. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you can get this over the counter at gas stations, because there's people showing up to these meetings like totally bent on this stuff. Like they're throwing their whole lives away over a gas station drink. And I don't know. I had to know what I know it's kind of silly. I'm not out doing like fucking heroin, or I'm not out doing meth, but I was curious what this gas station drink was all about. And it's something.
Yeah.
It's something for sure.
Well, I feel bad for people who buy those and think, oh, it's just something available at the gas station. It's probably got vitamins in it.
Yeah.
And then they take it.
It's just like an energy drink, like sports supplement. Like it's not. It's not. It's so crazy. I feel bad for these. I don't remember that kind of shit being out 20 years ago.
Definitely wasn't.
There was alcohol and drugs. That was it. Yeah. Now they got these little gray areas in life.
I think they're doing a good job getting rid of the 7-0 though, which is good. Kratom is. There's not a lot of negative effects outside of the addiction, which is a big negative, but like at least it's somewhat safe. If you're buying the plant, you're putting it in veggie capsules and you're doing it that way. Yeah. But one thing is the money they got for suing the Sackler family, all those, every state is like allotted a certain amount of money, I believe, from that lawsuit, and they're using it for alternative treatments. And one thing they're doing is using the money from the opiate crisis lawsuits to fund veterans to do Ibogaine. Ibogaine, you ever heard of this? So this is a treatment that it started at like Tijuana. You had to go outside of the states to get it, and now they're doing a lot of stuff in, I think, Texas and Tennessee, and they have a bill like on the floor. I assume it's probably getting voted on tomorrow here for Ibogaine for veterans and first responders. But they basically, it's a sponsor. So I don't know if you'd come to a clinic here, but right now, as it stands, you'd go down to Texas or Florida or Tijuana, and you basically stay a couple days. And they give you this drug. They have to do like a full physical on you. They hook you up to a heart monitor. They say it can cause some cardiac effects, but it's super safe or whatever, as opposed to the 1 or 2 cases they have where someone goes into a fucking lethal cardiac arrhythmia, but whatever. So you go down there, and I think you get an IV, and you basically throw up for days, like hours.
This is like ayahuasca?
Essentially the same thing.
I've heard that. I mean, that's the only reason I've never done this drug. Yeah. I don't like to vomit. Well, and I heard that you vomit profusely on this thing. Yeah. I don't like puking.
Well, and there's zero, as of right now, it looks like there's zero inclination that it's addictive. And then 2, it has an 85% chance of healing your opiate addiction in 1 treatment, and like a 95 in 2.
Really?
So people are going down there for 1 treatment and getting completely healed from their addictions.
You said that the opiate addiction's real. I can say with a straight face, like, it has been a decade since I've had an opiate. Yeah. So like, thank God for that. But it was a real, like, in the throes of it, it was a real thing, man. Like those withdrawals, or you're just trying not to feel bad. Like you feel so sick, you just don't want to feel sick anymore. Like that's really it all boils down to. There's nothing sophisticated about this cycle of abuse. Like you literally just don't want to be sick, so you go back and use again, and it never gets better from there. Yeah.
Another thing too is that after you do the Ibogaine, they have you smoke something called the toad, which is basically 5-MeO-DMT, which is like a really strong
I've tried
form
DMT.
of Yeah.
I never got a breakthrough though.
So I didn't either when I did it.
And it was expensive too.
Somebody had it. Yeah. Like put it on marijuana and held the flame like away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't smoke pot for the first time until I was 40 years old.
Interesting.
And then I went from smoking it to fucking trafficking hundreds of pounds of marijuana. That's when I worked when we worked at the Octafarma together.
Yes.
And I was selling in the background, man. I was fucking trafficking hundreds of pounds.
I didn't know anything about it.
You didn't know any of that?
Of course not.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, no. Well, the time of the statute of limitations has passed. It's been long
7
enough.
years?
Yeah. No, it's almost 7 years. It's coming up on it.
We'll post this in like 6 more months.
Yeah. No, that was a real thing. Yeah, I went from never trying marijuana to like getting really involved in it. I thought marijuana was so cool. I had like a 4-year run with that.
I had a similar experience. I had no idea what it was until I was out of high school.
Yeah.
And then I was dating a gal who was like very successful at the time, soccer player, got a ride to play soccer in college. She was one of those doesn't study, gets 4.0 GPAs. So I really looked up to her.
Yeah.
And she at the time was purchasing She was getting like 95 milligram oxycodones from a dude whose grandma was deathly sick. And so this guy would sell her this. And so I watched her do
she had
those.
A fucking major pill habit?
She did.
She's passing school like that?
Exactly.
That's rare.
Well, most drug addicts are really smart people.
They are really smart people. Yeah, no, they are.
And then she also smoked weed. And so then I was like, well, I guess it's not for losers. And that was, I had a weird thing that's a real thing, but it's rare, where I couldn't get high.
That's why I stopped using it. After 4 years, I couldn't get high anymore.
No, mine was I couldn't get high at first.
Oh.
So it's a thing where some people don't, like maybe genetically, you don't have that line of connections to process tetrahydroxy, whatever. And so you don't have that chemical. You're not able to produce that or read it. So you have to smoke it for a while.
Oh.
So I had that, so I never really even got into weed initially because it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like way later that I'd finally tried it a few months in a row, like here and there, and then one day I just got it like overnight.
Yeah, I just remember really liking it. Like the first time I had a one hitter, I only took like 2 hits. It was not very much. It was very little.
Yeah,
it was really. I just remember thinking, like, God, why do they talk so much shit on this drug? It was nice.
It's humbling.
It stopped my drinking. It stopped all sorts of stuff, you know. But then after using it for a couple of years, it got to the point where it didn't work anymore. So I just had to give it up.
Yeah, you can build up a tolerance very quickly.
Yeah.
I hate it now. My anxiety goes bananas. I'm like peeking out the windows and shit.
Oh, that's terrible.
So,
it just makes me want to eat. So I don't like the munchies.
Yeah, I'm off it. I'm just like, it's not worth it.
No, every once in a while I'll do an edible. If there's a bunch of people out there, I'll do an edible or something. But yeah, my last experience using it, I didn't enjoy it. It was probably a year ago. So yeah, no, I feel you.
What branch of the military did you go into?
I served 10 years in the Marine Corps and 10 years in the Army.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a crazy career.
It was 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You started in the Marine Corps?
Yes.
Right out of high school?
Right out of high school. Yeah. And then when I got out, I had an 18-month break in service, became a paramedic, and then went back in as an Army officer and was a military police officer for, and then amongst other things, I did some other things, but yeah.
What years were you in the Marine Corps?
From 98 to 08, and then from 08 to 17. Yeah.
Did you get deployed?
I've been deployed, a couple times,
In this Marine Corps?
Mm-hmm. I did two for the Marines and 1 for the Army.
Did you go, what years would it have been in Iraq? Or?
Yep, in 2005, 7, and 16.
What was your job in the Marine Corps?
I was an infantry.
Oh,
yeah. Monkey with the gun. Yeah.
Is that what they call it?
That's what I called it. There wasn't much to it. I actually had a really high ASVAB. My dad was so disappointed in my choice to do infantry, but I was young. I wanted to be John Rambo.
Right.
So I wanted to do, so I did this thing called force reconnaissance. I was recon and then force reconnaissance, 2 different you had to try out and audition for this particular little small elite group within the Marines where 1% of the people can have to pass this swim run and this physical agility test. And
you had to do like buds or something
kind of
similar?
like that, something similar to that. Yeah. This was all before like Navy SEALs became like a prominent, this is the early 2000s, so there was no movies out about like all that shit, it's just like I want to be the best of the best of the best. And it's like they're like, you can jump out of airplanes and blow shit up, and like it's exactly what I want to be doing. So that's exactly what I signed up for. But this is before war broke out. I'm getting ready to get out of the Marine Corps I'm getting ready to get out when 9/11 happened. I was already finished my first tour, and then 9/11 happened, and that set that trajectory in a different route. I signed up for the military to get my college paid for. My parents were broke. They couldn't afford to send me to college. I signed up to just get my college paid for. So I did my 4 years, and I'm getting ready to get out. And then the war broke out, and then so that it stayed in it, it was kind of like the cool thing to do. Like you want to like get combat tested and see what you're really all about. Man, that's a whole nother experience, my friend. Yeah, we can go down that rabbit hole.
Well, where was your first tour at before we were at war?
Okinawa, Japan.
Okay. Yeah, you said you were there for like 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
What was the issue going on there? Were you just on a base?
Yeah, just overseas. Yeah, in the Far East, just doing that, doing some little tours on boats. Floating around the damn whatever, Pacific, Atlantic, whichever. I think it's Pacific. Floating around the Pacific Ocean, on a boat. Doing an expeditionary unit. Just. Yeah.
Wow. So to go from that, I've talked to some people that have had really incredible experiences being deployed there,
Oh, it was amazing.
Now you're going to war, about to get out.
Yeah.
Now you got to go to Iraq.
I was months from being done. Months. I was actually home on leave in Missouri because when I lived in Japan, I could only come home once a year. So I was home for like 10 days, and my little brother called me. He had just joined the Marines. He called me the day that 9/11 was going down. I don't remember what day of the week it was. So the first plane had already hit the towers. He calls. He's in California, Camp Pendleton. I turn on the damn news, and but by the end of that day, I'm getting a phone call. It's time to go back. Like, we're going to war. And it was within a 30-day time frame. I'm in Germany, then I'm in freaking Kuwait, and then I'm in, just kind of going over there, man.
Were you a Camp Pendleton too, Marine, or were you?
Well, I was in Okinawa at the time when this.
No, but when
I was at Camp Pendleton.
Okay,
yeah, that was where I started. Everything started at Camp Pendleton for me.
You got a little extra pep, I hear, if you're a West
Hollywood
Coast Marine.
You're Hollywood Marine.
Hollywood Marine. Yeah.
Yeah,
we had somebody talking about that, and that's he's like, I'm so glad I was a West Coast Marine.
Yeah, me too. I've not heard anything good about East Coast Marines, but yeah, we all cut from the same cloth. Yeah, war experiences are something dynamic too, man. Totally dynamic. But definitely my closest brush with death was getting stabbed here as a civilian compared to anything over there, War, you can serve in combat without having like direct conflict and stuff like that going on.
Well, how about the threat of it?
Well, that's the part that's scary.
And living with the threat.
It wears your nervous system out.
It must,
because you're just scared to death all the time. All the time. I've had some seriously like scary issues where like you don't think you're gonna make it through a situation, and then your nervous system's fried, man. It's just fucking fried. Yeah.
You were in Kuwait?
Yeah.
And I assume you're on the American base there. Did you have did Iraq go into that region?
No. That's where we were like getting everyone together, amassing, doing all of our training ranges, shooting down, getting all dialed in. And then you go across the border. And this is back when they thought there were weapons of mass destruction. So we're putting on these chemical mop suits. It's like 100 and freaking let's just say the base temperature is 105 degrees. You put this suit on, and your heat index is like 135 degrees, and you're living in these suits where these chemical warfare suits, because we're like expecting any minute to get sprayed with like the shit that he was killing the Kurds with. I don't remember what it was, whatever poison it was, and you're living in these mop suits, these chemical war. Yeah, it was horrible. Like, it was so horrible, so hot. Like, and that was just normal, man. You just expected to die. When you're young, though, it's just weird. You just don't. I could never see. I don't think I could do it now. I don't have it in me. When I was young, I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd do it. I mean, just being honest. I don't know if I could do it again.
Yeah, but I mean, that's common with growth in life and age.
Yeah.
Like, better now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. You get these hothead people here stateside that want to fight about everything, and I'm just like, there's more, dude. Something really has to go wrong before you and I are like exchanging blows. Like, I've just done too much, seen too much. Like, I'm not impressed by how tough people are. Like, I'm not going to feel threatened enough to like want to exchange blows with you. Like, just not doing it.
And we need more people that have that mindset.
I wish that more people did. No, it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, it's healthy.
Oh yeah. You go to the bars these days and someone's wanting to fight somebody over something.
When you were in high school, did you know Marine Corps was on your path?
No, I signed up for the Navy. My dad was.
But military was.
Yeah.
On your agenda?
Oh yeah. That was a guaranteed. My dad was career military. You're going to the military. That's expected. Me and my brother both went. Both my father's children went to the military. He served in Iraq at the same time I did. My mom about lost her fucking mind. She had two of her kids over in Iraq, and she's watching CNN when they used to play it on the TV 24 hours a day. And she'd watch these characters run across the screen. And she'd like say to my dad, like, there they are, like, saw Kenny and Michael. And she thought she'd see us, and my dad just never had the heart to tell her, like, that's not even the region they're in. Like, we don't even know where they are. She would think that she saw us on TV, and it like kept her going.
Poor lady.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she's all fucked up from it too. Yeah.
So, what was your decision? Well, for one, were you pretty fit in high school? Were you into fitness at all?
I wasn't. I did not get fit until I joined the military. Then I got here's my thinking about it. I was definitely into girls before I joined the military, and then you get in the military and you join the Marines and they're the best of the best. And so now you're in this pool of people where everyone's great, everyone's amazing. It's like, how do you stick out enough to get a date? So I was like, if you're super fit, that was my like deduction, you know, like if you're super fit, that's how you stand out amongst these things. So that's why I started exercising like crazy, is because all these guys are badasses. But if you want to be a fit badass, you know, so I started working out to like try to set myself apart from everybody else. That was my whole 18-year-old logic, you know, and it worked well. Yeah. You know, when you're young in your early 20s, like if you're super fit, girls definitely recognize it, you know.
Sure.
The older you get, though, the more they don't care. I don't know why.
You think so?
I do. I do. Yeah, being
it can't hurt.
No, you're. Oh no, there's definitely nothing wrong with it. Having summertime, you're taking off your shirt at the pool, and you're not the guy sucking the gut in. Like that's a great feeling to not have to do. You know, it's great. You know, but yeah, the older I get, the less important it becomes. When I was younger, like being fit was everything. Yeah, now it's just not. But I definitely like women to be fit. That's for sure.
Yeah, double standard. Then you gotta stay fit yourself.
Well, I do stay.
Some
fit
of them
myself.
don't like it though. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's lots of girls that don't like a fit guy. Yeah, for sure.
Well, they want the option to like not have to be fit later on, you know.
Dude, that's a real thing.
I'm
telling you what, man, you don't want to be single in your 40s, man. There's not very many good 40-looking-year-olds.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just telling you.
You got to go down a decade at least.
You do. That's real advice for anyone that's listening to this. You go down a decade easily.
Unless you're 20.
Yeah, or 20. Yeah, don't do it.
So, did you think you were going to be done when you did your first 10 years? Did you have to take some convincing to come back in the Army?
Well, no, I got out for 18 months and I couldn't cope and went right back in. And the only reason I went to the when I got out of the Marine Corps, I'd gotten injured. I broke my hip, and so they wouldn't take me back. But the Army was like, "Fuck yeah, we'll take a washed up Marine." Like, and then they're like offering me ability to be an officer. Like now I'm in charge of people. Like, you know, so it was like, you know, I'm like 28, you know, and all of a sudden now I'm an officer, like leading all these troops and stuff, and it was cool. You know, I enjoyed it.
Damn, another 10 years though.
Yeah, it was the worst 10 years of my life.
Was that your
horrible?
Did you do them all consecutively, or
horrible? I hated the Army. Hated it.
What didn't you like about it in comparison?
They
to
had
Marines?
no standards. So in the Marine Corps, you have to shoot a rifle well enough. You have to run a mile fast enough. You have to be in physical fitness. There's standard for everything. If you don't make the standard, you get washed back. And if you get washed back enough times, you're just going to throw your ass out. You're done. And the Army, they'll let you go all the way through it at 50% and still let you graduate. Even if you're only 50% good, they'll let you graduate. And then they went from being the boot camps job to get you in shape to your unit's job to like get you the rest of the way. So all these freaking privates would be showing up to my unit that I'm in charge of. You know, I've got 212 guys I've got to lead. Granted, I had people like intermediaries, or I'm in charge of you, you're in charge of them, and it's like, you know, this whole like work its way down. But you get these dirt bags that just come to your unit and just be complete turds. And this in the Marine Corps, it was unfathomable. Like that problem did not exist, and I didn't know what to do with it. Like the eating standard, being out of shape and overweight, just refusing to freaking PT and run. Like, oh yeah, when we got deployed to go to Djibouti, Africa, I remember when the warning order came out, and so it's like, now you're letting the unit know, like, hey, we're deploying to Africa. And I had all these parents of all these kids calling me and being like, my son's not deploying. And it's like, well, ma'am, here's how it works. Like, your son has been getting his college paid for the last 3 years, and now the government wants their money back. And so guess what? Your son is for sure coming with me when we go to Djibouti, Africa. But all these parents like protesting, and like I became this villain, like I just most hated character in the world, because I was the commander of this unit. And it's like, I had nothing to do with it, man. I was just the asshole on the phone that was like, but there was no backing down. There's no like saying, oh, you're right. They don't need to, little Johnny doesn't have to worry about anything. Oh, for sure. I can have a magic wand to wave and say who could go and who couldn't go. There were people there that were like, this was their 5th deployment, dude. And they're like, my wife of 20 years is going to divorce me if I get out again. And I was like, sorry, you know, you're coming with, man.
You're saying you didn't have a magic wand.
No, I did not have a magic wand.
Okay.
Like, you're going. If your number gets pulled, man, there's no getting out of it, you know. Now, there were people that got out of it, say, smoke pot and get themselves thrown out or something like that, but now you're getting a dishonorable discharge. You're losing all your benefits.
That's crazy to do that for a dishonorable discharge.
People do it, man.
Would they later get an other than honorable?
I mean,
like after
I never found out.
I mean, how could you throw away your career like that? Unless you were brand new.
Djibouti, Africa wasn't even that bad.
Well, yeah. Was it a war zone? It wasn't. So, like,
there was nothing going on.
Yeah.
It was nothing. It was not even that bad of a deployment.
What was going on in Djibouti?
It was more like what was going on in northern Sudan and more into Africa itself. What was happening is all these Taliban fighters, they were getting bombed out of the Middle East over to Africa, and they would like regroup over there and have these little training camps and stuff over there. It's where they were like restructuring themselves there. So we were coming in from the east side of the coastline to like push inward and like eliminate them on all fronts, So yeah, there was a lot going on globally at the time that a lot of people just didn't realize. Everyone thought that it was just the Middle East was just where it was at. And there was a lot going on in Africa too. Yeah.
Well, I just listened to something about how many sleeper cells are in Taiwan and areas like that.
Well, even the United States.
Just hiding. Yeah. And a lot of the people they were hunting in Iraq supposedly were hiding in like Taiwan and like southern Thailand, I think. There's like a mountainous region. And so there's like tons of known big Muslim Iraqi like targets that we had at that time that were hiding out in Taiwan. And so they had a special unit, this guy was saying, that went over there and pretty much did like digital data stuff, like collection, where they would try to basically listen in and locate them to see if it was worth sending a unit there to investigate and maybe take out the target.
Yeah, I didn't do too much over in that region, not at that time, but no, it makes sense.
What at Djibouti?
Djibouti.
Can you look this up? Is this
it's a little island.
Where's like the nearest big African city?
Oh man, you're asking me to draw back some time.
Djibouti, Africa. I did not think it was going to be spelled like that.
You can get a hotel there for $95
a night.
Yeah,
that's not that cheap.
Yeah, right off the Horn of Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. So did you make it to any crazy places in Africa?
No,
any time for leisure?
No. I went and did a safari that was pretty cool. I got to see an albino elephant. I remember that.
Wow.
But nothing crazy. Wow, you guys are sophisticated. You got the TV to pull up just like Joe Rogan and stuff.
Sure
we could have looked up a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, whatever you want. He loves looking stuff up. So you did 10 years and then you got out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get your medic in between?
Yes.
Marine
yeah.
and worked at Mass for that time period? What did you think your life was going to be like after the Army? Did you have something set up?
I was going to get married, have a wife with 3 kids and a white picket fence, all that stuff.
Does your military, does that come from 2 different retirements? Like
no, it's all one. Okay. Yeah, it's just one pension. It's a nice pension, though. I'm not going to complain.
20's the one you want to do, right?
Yeah.
That's the max?
Yeah. Well,
not the max,
you can go to 30, but yeah.
So do they give you like 62.5%? They give you 100% of what you made?
No, well, I get the 60. It's percentage, and then I get disability on top of that.
Yeah.
So I double dip. I get an actual pension for doing the 20 years, and then I get disability because I got injured. I had to have my shoulder replaced, and
no taxes.
Yeah, no taxes, no taxes whatsoever. I don't have to pay for registration of my tags on my car. I don't have to pay for fishing license, hunting. There's all these little perks that you get, like all my student loans got forgiven. Yeah, there was all sorts of cool little things.
As they should.
Yeah. So that's it. But here I am. I'm only 45. I know that only, like to some people, that's old as shit. And I make more money now in retirement than I did working full time as a paramedic. And it's like there's no incentive to work. Yeah, I do real estate, but that's like just for fun. But you get to a point where you have all this free time. And then I'm telling you, like, if you don't have to go to work, like, you're not going to go to work. I'm telling you, if you had the means to not have to go to work, you would not go to work.
Yeah, no, nobody would, really.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you might do a hobby that turns into work.
Yeah, and that's what real estate is for me. It's just something I enjoy doing on the side,
Well, there's something, too, like, just because the monetary benefits are so great to real estate, there's something about closing the deal, showing you can do it, because it's such a competitive job, I imagine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I've had some interesting cases. Like, I had one client who was going through a divorce, so having to deal with this tumultuous breakup between a husband and wife, playing playing like multiple roles, like real estate agent, counselor, financial advisor, like just like trying to keep this deal going, like, and just like you said, am I good enough? Can I get this to close? It's like this being tested. It's like being battle tested all over again. So yeah, I love that. Or I love it when my favorite position is when I'm a buyer's agent, when someone's wanting to buy a house and I'm representing them in that, because I like to go see how good of a deal. Can I get them a new roof? Can I get them $10,000 closing costs at the table for them to have in their pocket to pay for a new couch or whatever? I like to see how far I can take it there. When you're dealing with sellers and you're selling houses for people, they get these emotional attachments to houses and they get these unrealistic ideas of what their house is worth. And it's just unsellable because people are not going to pay more for it. Like, you don't have to be a sophisticated real estate agent to walk into a house and feel that something's overpriced. Have you ever shopped for a house?
Yeah. Well, and another thing too is, like, I know from my ex when she bought her house, you don't really need, like, if they're already established in a big real estate company, that company's already done a lot of the work, it seems like, for them. So, like, now it's just about knowing people that want to buy. Correct. You're not really doing anything. You're just trying to get people to use you now, and your company's done all the work.
Correct. Yeah, it's not difficult. Yeah. If you got a big box brokerage. Like,
do you want another water?
I do, yes.
Could you get a water? No homo, but, like, did you know pretty early that your skill sets were basically transferable into anything? Like, you had quite a bit of versatility, or did you struggle with knowing that it was going to be pretty much whatever you set your mind to?
Yeah, I never had a master plan, that's for sure. Like, I treated the world as my playground. Like, anything was possible, and I never.
Oh, so you did then?
Okay.
I was thinking, like, for me, like, looking at you, anybody that spends 5 minutes is going to know, like, if this guy wants to do this, it's going to be pretty simple. Yeah. You knew that pretty early that you were able to be.
Yeah, anything I wanted to do, I knew I could do. And so I just chose whatever excited me. And, money was never a motivator for me. I'm not like super rich by any means, but I always pursued people. I liked dopamine and adrenaline, which is why I got into the military and EMS. Like, I loved that I don't know, like the whole world's falling apart, and like you're there. Like, I mean, I can.
It's a drug.
Yeah, I got so addicted to it, man. Just I could tell stories for days. I spent 3 years working in a burn unit, man. And if you've never worked in a burn unit, like, you see some. I mean, there was shit that gave me nightmares. I would go home with nightmares. Some of the stuff that I seen to people, like, you just never thought was fathomable, But I loved it.
Burns have to be some of the worst injuries.
Yeah,
hard to treat. Analgesic doesn't really work on them.
No. That's where I learned that this whole fentanyl thing is so confusing, because you got people who are dying on the street in droves of fentanyl overdose. But there would be times I would give a patient a gram, which I know you need to understand what a gram of fentanyl. That's 10,000 milligram doses of fentanyl. I'd give them a gram.
A gram?
Throughout a shift, not like at once, but I'd be giving them up to a gram of fentanyl in a 12-hour period, and they're still tacking along.
Well, look up carfentanil versus fentanyl. This is a common thing, and I could be making this up, but here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. The fentanyl that you carry on the truck, that's not what's killing people. I think what's killing people is carfentanil, which is basically like that 7-0, like they've extracted it and they've made it. So fentanyl and carfentanil are two different things.
Okay.
I don't think fentanyl's killing anyone. Because you can also, within hours, you can establish, let's see. Yeah, see, carfentanil is approximately 100 times more potent than fentanyl, or 10,000 times more potent than morphine, as opposed to fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. So fentanyl is 100 times more potent than morphine, and carfentanil is 100 times more potent than fentanyl. So that's what's killing people. It's not really fentanyl.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That fentanyl stuff is real. I've got people I know that are just fucking over. I mean, they're hooked on that stuff, man.
Veterinary drug for large animals. Yeah. So that's the big thing there. I deal with that all the time with ladies who break their leg or whatever, and they're like, "No, don't give me fentanyl."
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah. They're so afraid of it.
It's not what you think.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually so, like, especially with our protocols are horrible. You can only give 50 technically.
I don't think that's a very strong
someone
dose.
broke their leg in half. You need 100 out of the gate, or at least 50 back to back pretty quick.
Did you give me Demerol or something? I'd take that over fentanyl any day of the week. Fentanyl's so quick on. So like if you're not, when I had that whole stabbing thing, they were giving me 150 milligrams at a time. Every 2 hours, I'd get 150.
Well, with fentanyl, you can get getting it like in the hospital. I've noticed by the second or third dose, you've developed a tolerance.
Yeah, you
already.
don't feel anything anymore. Yeah.
So there's no reason. Well, I shouldn't say there's no reason, but it's the car fentanyl. This is a talking point. Even Big Boy Rogan repeats constantly, and I always want to be like scream at him. I'm like, it's not fentanyl, because they'll be like, they give that shit at the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, they don't give that shit at the hospital.
I guess I really didn't know the difference. I didn't realize that there was the carfentanil thing. I never really looked into it.
I had a call once where I had a girl who she bought a Percocet from a friend, and she was completely unconscious. Like agonal respirations, gave her Narcan. She wakes up. What'd you take? I just took a Percocet. No, you didn't take a Percocet. What'd you take? I just took a Percocet, blah, blah, blah. Go back in the room. Sure enough, she has a bottle. Correct. And I thought that she was lying to me that whole time. 2 weeks later, I run a lady agonal respirator. And a lot of people don't know Narcan is not a reversal for narcotics. It's a reversal for opiates.
Yeah.
So I still have people to this day that think you should be giving Narcan to people overdosed on benzos.
It doesn't work because Ramazicon is what you
correct. Ramazicon, Flumazazole.
Yeah.
Fucking. So anywho, I go there and she's overdosed, agonal respirations, blue lips, whatever, classic opiate overdose, pinpoint pupils, give her Narcan, she wakes up. Obviously she wasn't on benzos then. And it was a school bus, a yellow school bus. My buddy's got him. Sure enough, she has the pills. So she thought what she was taking was a Xanax. And I hate to say, like most high schoolers, they buy their buddy Xanax. Yeah. And here she had somebody's pressed fentanyl. Same with the girl with the Percocet.
I guess there's no honor amongst like drug dealers.
Well, maybe they don't know.
Yeah.
I
guess you're not, unless you're, unless
Ricky got it from Jimmy, that got it from Sarah, that got it from Carly's sister, who's got a prescription, supposedly.
Yeah. I guess I was always the ethical drug dealer. I always tested everything before I told it out to anyone, because I didn't want to be that guy standing trial.
Yeah.
For someone that overdosed on some shit.
They're making you stand trial now.
No, which in my defense, I've never dealt any narcotics or anything. Like, it was strictly marijuana. Let's be real about that. No, but no, there are some people that are really fucking pissing their life. I didn't realize there was something called carfentanil.
Yeah.
And they're pressing it into like Xanny bars.
They're pressing it into whatever you want to buy. You want to buy an Adderall, IR, instant release, anything that's a tablet.
How could you not know the difference between an Adderall and there's a huge...
It looks like an Adderall. That's the thing.
I guess you're right. You wouldn't figure it out until you're
like... pill with the IR on it, 30X on it, and then you take it, now you're not breathing. Bye-bye.
That's a shitty way
Hopefully
to go.
You're with a buddy that can call 911.
Because no one's taking an Adderall expecting to like overdose. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I'm not saying it's right, but most people, like in high school, they take a quarter of my Adderall, take a quarter of my kids. They explore options. They what's the word I'm thinking of? Experiment. They experiment, and now they can't even experiment. And it is sad because now you can go to fucking Walmart and buy an opiate test kit, a fentanyl test kit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The VA calls me every fucking few months wanting to send me fentanyl. I mean, not fentanyl, Jesus.
Narcan.
Narcan. I'm like, I don't even have any opiates prescribed to me. And they're like, well, it's just, you never know. So I've got like 6 kits in my closets. I forget they're there. So my question is, what does the landscape look like in your world as far as that's going? Are you running multiple overdose calls like on shift for that kind of stuff?
It's kind of slowed down.
Really?
Yeah, since we bombed the ships, okay. No, it has slowed down, but it depends on the area. One thing that was really weird coming from working in Independence to working across the city lines, allegedly in Kansas City, is that a fake borderline separates 2 entirely different economies in clientele. I didn't run a single, if not maybe one, PCP call in Independence. But if you're in Kansas City, you'll never run a methamphetamine overdose. You'll only run PCP. Independence meth, Kansas City PCP, almost a perfect separation with an imaginary border, and you're running 2 completely different calls.
So you run those PCP calls?
Mostly.
What do those look like?
Dude, they're horrible. Dude, you worked at the plasma center. Everybody who donates plasma is
wet.
Getting their wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no one ever came in like wet, like,
Oh, they come in.
I'd never had anyone like, I've heard like those, like they have superhuman strength. They're freaking gorked out of their minds. I guess like they're stripped themselves naked. I guess they're hot all the time. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a lot of experience with it, but I've heard there's a very distinct smell to it too. Like
there is. It almost smells like you're swallowing a crushed up vitamin C.
Okay.
Like a vitamin or a medicine. It smells like you're tasting something, if that makes any sense. No, it is. It's a very distinct smell that makes you think that you're like...
So here at Kansas City, you're running PCP nonstop, no methamphetamines, but when you were at AMR or whatever?
Correct. It was nonstop.
And this is just, you said within like just a certain geographic... Like,
yeah, isn't that weird?
It is.
Right over that 24 and 435
the dealers are lazy.
line.
They're not going to go like, 3 miles in.
Bizarre.
I don't know, dude. There was never any drugs out there that I was willing to piss my life away on. But those people that are on meth, like they give up everything. Like I've never met a successful meth user in life. Like
unless they're on Adderall, and then they're usually successful.
No, they're doing just fine. Once you start smoking it, and especially if you start shooting it, everything good about you. Like, but when I went to rehab. Like the number of freaking meth users was like 85%, and you can just look at them and everyone kept telling me when I went to rehab, like, you don't belong here, and I didn't know what that meant at first because I'm like, no, I have a pretty bad drinking is what took me to rehab. Was I had a drinking problem? I couldn't stop drinking, but I get what they're saying. I didn't belong. I did not look the same way as them. I didn't have like tattoos on my face, and had all my teeth.
You had options.
Yeah, I had options in life where these people don't. Man, it's kind of sad.
It's sad.
It's really sad. It was a long 6 months.
Yeah, you were talking earlier about being empathetic to certain people, and I had like a string of insane panic attacks for like 3 to 6 months where I kept having to go to the ER. I thought I was dying.
Yeah, like having a heart attack.
It was like shortness of breath primarily. No chest pain.
You weren't having chest pain. Okay,
I was
so you knew it was anxiety.
Thought I didn't for a while. I mean, at one point I thought my brain was bleeding because I was sparring at the time, and I had a headache for 3 months, and I was like, I swear. I got a CT scan one night, and they were like, we don't know if it's artifact or if you have a very tiny brain bleed, but we're going to give you the CD. You'll go home and you'll get an MRI this week. And I said, absolutely not. I'll get an MRI here tonight. And then I waited like 3 hours. They had to call somebody in, got an MRI. They're like, you're fine. But this went on until eventually I exhausted every ER, every option, every like natural herb remedy, like functional mushrooms, CBD. I tried everything. And then finally I had a veteran psychiatrist that started me on 10 milligrams Lexapro. And within 3 months, I was half better. And within 4 months, I was completely better. And then I weaned myself off.
Yeah, but those anxiety attacks are real.
They're horrible. I used to go out in the front yard of our apartment complex when I was with my girlfriend. And I would just sit there at 5 a.m. She'd work nights, so she wasn't home. Because I knew I was going to die. And I just wanted someone to find me in the yard. I didn't want her to have to come in. Like, that's how sure I was. Yeah. I used to keep a basket of clothes that were clean, and I would fold them, and then I'd dump them in the basket because as soon as I had a panic attack, I'd have to start folding. It was the only thing that would keep me from going, having the worst anxiety attack.
So like Xanax and shit didn't work for you?
Well, Klonopin did, but the difference between Xanax and Klonopin is Xanax ruins your day. So I never wanted to be on Xanax because the next day you're no good. Yeah. Klonopin is a little bit more euphoric but has the same like anxiety relief as Xanax, and it doesn't make you a zombie the next day. It's kind of an older drug. So it was hard to, because I was asking for it by name. I knew my brother had struggled with anxiety too, so I knew this is what I needed. I didn't need Xanax. And it was hard because I'd go in and I'd tell them, no, I need this. And they would be like, oh, this guy's asking by name. We're going to give him hydroxyzine.
Yeah, which is Benadryl.
Correct. And so also that made it worse because then I was so lethargic and tired, still short of breath. But now it was harder to breathe because I'm fucking tired.
Oh, man. See, that's that. Once you get a bad rap with the ERs, you're screwed, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened to me when I had the opiate issue, is because I would get these bona fide stomach aches that would sometimes, at least 50% of the time, would turn into an emergency surgery. But then, 50% of the time I was wrong. So they had me pegged as having chronic pain syndrome and some other things. So I'd go and they would just like begrudgingly give me like 5 milligrams of morphine and like kick me out. Well, there was a couple times where they kicked me out and they didn't do a CAT scan or an MRI or whatever, and I had an obstruction going on, so I'd lose half my intestines. And it happened a couple times where, they just would give me fucking painkillers and kick me out, just wanting to wash me through, and there was something really going on and they didn't explore it enough. Yeah, so once they're not on your side, you're screwed, man. I saw that when I worked at research in the hospital. I worked in the burn unit and in the ER. Like, there has been so many times where like it was such an awkward position, like advocating for a patient to a doctor, like trying to convince this doctor, like, it's like at the time I couldn't say like from my own experience, no, like I know this intimately, like this is like legit, like for a good example, in. I don't know what the right or wrong answer is. This girl had a terrible addiction to, I don't remember what she was shooting up, but she had necrotizing fasciitis on her ACs and ABs. We're talking like active, like just painful, just engrossed, inflamed, horrible lesions all over her arms and like anywhere you could shoot up. She was fucking had necrotizing fasciitis, and she's in horrible pain. And so, but no one wanted to treat her. No one wanted to give her pain meds because like that was like the catalyst to it all. But like, I just couldn't help but to think like, God, she's still a human being. Like, what I'm saying? Like, she's already thrown her life away. So if she's like wasting this much time out of her day for 100 mics of fentanyl, like, give it to her. Like,
and it's not going to really even touch her.
No, yeah, it's not going to do anything. Like, for real? Are you kidding me? Like, the fact that she's here says a lot, like, because she would be at her dealer if that was a viable option, because like the shit she's getting there is actually going to do something for her, and it's horrible. But yeah, sometimes, and I'm not hating doctors or anything, it's got to be a risk versus reward. I don't know, but sometimes they shut down within the first 30 seconds of a situation. They don't give the patient the full time, to where, especially if you have a stomach ache. It's such a diffuse complaint. What does that mean? You got a stomach ache. There could be a lot going on. And if they're just not in the mood to run it through and, work it up and see what it is, then they're just going to give you some opiates and, you could have a bleed going on and they're just giving you 5 milligrams of morphine to get you to shut up and go home. And then you go home and that bleed doesn't stop. It just gets worse.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah. We were going to sue one of the hospitals because they did that shit to me. But the lawyer was like, if I had died, then we'd have a perfect case. But because I didn't die and only lost half my intestines, it was just half your intestines. Like, no big deal.
Hey, thank God that you had a bowel resection and didn't up with like a colostomy.
I had one. Are you kidding me?
Oh, you had to have one for a
year.
Bit? Oh.
Try being 26 years old and have a fucking shit bag, a poop bag.
It might be one of the worst cards to draw.
It was. I thought I'd never get laid again in my life.
Yeah.
It was so horrible. I'm serious. The world got very small during that time frame, which makes you want to use opiates even more.
Yeah. Oh, I imagine.
Yeah. Talk about getting like an image disorder off of that. Like, yeah. I never thought I'd recover from that.
It sounds really ignorant, but I try to, that and amputations, I try to tell myself every day, like, you need to be using your body because
agreed.
You've really, like, imagine having a debilitating problem that doesn't really mean death, and you just have to learn to live with it. And here you are completely healthy, knock on wood.
Yeah, and you're laying in bed crying about woe is me.
Exactly.
I toil with that. I was laying in bed, woe is me, the other day, and I thought to myself, like, I got both my legs. It's 85 degrees outside. Like, I could be walking outside doing something. Like, I had the same thought.
So what else was on your agenda when you got out of the Army?
I don't know if I really had one. I didn't.
But you were just going to use basically the pension you earned and then just start a family. That was your initial goal?
Yeah. It just didn't work out that way. Like dating something else when you're in your 20s. Like there's just like, you can just meet people like, and then when you're in your 30s, it takes like a change. And then when you get to your 40s, Every decade of your life, the dating experience changes quite a bit. So now I'm almost 40 when I'm getting out of the military, and I'm working at Octapharma or wherever the hell during then, which I did meet a lot of people when I worked at the plasma center. Like a lot of girls wanted to go out with you. They thought you were like some stud or something, like you're the gatekeeper to like plasma donation.
The position we had.
Yeah. But the caliber of woman that you're dealing with was not great.
No, not at all.
No, they were like the bottom of the barrel,
What a good job. I learned a lot about that job. I feel like really fortunate that I've been able to work at like 2 different high volume EMS services. One was fire-based. Then I've got to work at an IV clinic, and I've got to see the plasma industry because it's kind of a flex when we'd run like a plasma call.
Yeah.
And I'd show up on the ambulance like, did you put him in return?
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's like I've seen a lot of different angles of medicine.
So what's your big plan? You can't be in EMS forever.
Yeah, maybe people will start listening to the podcast.
Well, that's a good extra strategy.
Yeah, we got some stuff in the works.
Yeah, you got any more big guests coming up?
Yeah, we do.
We
got a big one tomorrow. I'll tell you about it after.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you see I've been doing some commentary?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd like to do that a little more. I got a couple gigs that they're going to let me do some for. It's really fun. I've been struggling with like being a diving catch person always, like constantly diving for the ball right at the last moment. And I think if I just start putting more time and effort into some things that I'd like to do, deal with the imposter syndrome as it comes. Like nobody likes the 31-year-old that's posting about his podcast on social media, but I like to do it and I don't care.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And maybe one day someone else will get something out of it. And also like developing, I can't believe that guy got that promotion. He's a piece of shit to, hey man, someone needed it and that guy's going to have a cool experience.
Yeah.
Switching that mindset,
Just stick with it, man. Just stick with it. Don't give up on it.
I will, yeah, for sure.
Especially if you do it for 10 more years, you don't know how good you can get in 10 years. It's a long time.
Well, at the very least, like just being able to talk for a few hours a day or a few hours a couple days a week. How often do I get to just talk? Like that's a skill set.
Well, especially in the role that you're in, you listen. You do a lot of listening. You ask questions, but you don't talk very much.
Right, that's too.
Yeah,
it's
you're there to gather the facts,
So did you have like hobbies though that you thought like businesses you were going to pursue at that time?
Man, I've had a couple companies. I had a nutrition store, like a GNC.
Yeah.
I did that, but the margins weren't very good, like selling protein powder. It wasn't there,
Do you feel like real estate kind of fills up your cup though in a different way?
Yeah, I like the fact that I get to work for myself. I don't have a boss per se. There's a broker that's there to like answer for you legally to make sure you're not doing anything unethical or against the law. But yeah, you work for yourself and the paychecks aren't too bad. I mean, I've not sold any $10 million houses yet, but average check's like 10 grand, and then you got to give up 30% of it to the brokerage, so you're walking away with 7 grand. It's not bad. I mean, you've got maybe 20 hours of time into the whole deal.
Yeah,
it's not bad. You do one of those a month and you're fine.
But you feel like it's something that is more of a skill set, because that's obviously the type of guy you are. You're not going to do something for money. You feel like this is something you like to develop.
Yeah, I like doing it. I like being the solution to people's problems. Like either whether their problem is that they are a new home buyer looking for a house, or they're, like I said, I like helping people buy houses more than I do like helping people sell houses. It's two different experiences. But I like being the guy that's like, get the job done. I like that, like just being their hero, and then all the especially when I get a referral and someone's calling me and they're already like sold on who I am because I sold so-and-so their house, and they've called, and they just think I'm the best thing in the world. I'm their hero before we've even done anything. And anything I say is like the Bible written in red, like if I tell them this is a good deal or that's a good deal, they're like just ready to go. Like, it could be a power you could definitely abuse because people like trust everything you're saying. You can like, if you're a really shitty individual, you could just like lead them down some really bad paths.
You're their subject matter expert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They look at you that way, and I'm not. I've only been doing it for a year. I'm not an expert. Do you know what shit I chat GPT on the fly?
As they should be too.
I'm taking pictures of furnaces and throwing it up to chat GPT and asking to tell me what year this is so I can tell them. Yeah, I do a whole lot. I've taken pictures of roofs and put it on chat GPT and asked it questions, and yeah.
I heard the scariest thing about AI today, that And since 2017, like college professors' jobs have turned from teaching
to figuring out who's using it,
to becoming an investigator for plagiarism.
Yeah,
that's their entire job now.
Just yesterday, I was at dinner with my family, and some of the people that are there are college. They're in school. One's in school to be a doctor, and one's in school to be a pharmacist. And they had me read one of their papers that they wrote on a medical topic. It was nothing exciting, and so I'm reading it. But at a footer at the end of the paper was some kind of statement that that ChatGPT had been used for streamlining grammar. They had to have like a disclosure, basically, that said that it helped with their grammar, their punctuation, because I guess that they can run those papers through some kind of reverse
they have
program.
Like another program.
Yeah, and it can tell if it's even just made sure that your periods are in the right place, And I just thought, I see it both ways. I make sure, if I've got an email I want to send out, I have ChatGPT write it for me. Are you kidding me? I just tell it what I want it to say, and it makes it sound beautiful and eloquent. Why would you not want to be a college student? There's nothing wrong with using artificial intelligence, but I could see that they want you to be able to think for yourself too. So, yeah, they didn't have that shit when I was going to college. Artificial intelligence was not a thing, so there was none of that going on. You had to actually plagiarize somebody and steal their words. Yeah, good luck as a teacher figuring that out.
Yeah, well, and what kind of weirds me out is that my stepmom's a teacher, and I think she was saying that they have access to programs that, maybe I need to Google them, but I haven't heard of them. So they've released consumer AI, and then they've released AI for teachers simultaneously, they're playing both sides of the ball. It seems weird. I've never heard or seen or watched a reel where someone's like, this is the AI that teachers use. So this must be something they have a stranglehold on, because if the consumers that use Grok, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, if they get a hold of the software that's fighting them, that's a conflict of interest, is it not?
Yeah.
So I imagine the reason that we've never really heard about exactly what these teachers and professors are using is probably because it's very secretive.
Well, what grade is your stepmom teaching?
I think she teaches younger kids, but she just knows from...
I just hear the whole experience of being a teacher is so much different than what it was 10 years ago. Some of the, just with technology in general, now that most kids get iPads, now they've got to dabble in the fact that you're looking up porn, or you're looking up, just all the crazy stuff that, the internet itself, they have to sift through that, or I've dated a couple single moms where they're telling me the stuff that their kids have learned at school, at 8 years old, they're learning about rape or incest or, just shit that maybe you didn't really know anything about when you were
gender ideology.
Well, Jed, that's a perfect point. You're right about that. I have a niece that's struggling with an identity.
Well, they're learning about that in school.
Yeah, she's struggling with it, so I don't know what they're teaching her, but yeah, her name's Carrie, and she
teaching
wants to be called
that
Jerry.
it's okay, Ken.
I don't know. My brother's like, you can call yourself whatever you want, but I'm going to call you what you were given to.
She was born in the wrong body.
She thinks so. It's scary.
13,000 mastectomies in
do
the
they do
United
that?
States.
Do they do that really? That many?
13,000.
Dude, come on. What kind of parent are you to let that shit?
13,000 gender-affirming surgeries in the United States. Let that sit in. 13,000 life-changing surgeries.
You can't take that back.
You can't take that back.
That's so terrible.
What's going on?
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. My brother's handled it very well. He told her that she could do whatever she wants, but she can't have surgeries. He's not buying into it. He's like,
I wore eyeliner in 5th grade.
Did you?
Skinny jeans, Old Navy women's section.
Okay.
If Sonny Moore from First to Last would have changed his gender, I would have done it, Ken.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
There's a reason that they didn't let me do that.
Thank God. Yeah, because it was a phase.
Yeah, it's called a phase.
Yeah.
It's called being very subjective to your idol's behavior and wanting to copy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Well, are you enjoying the you think you'll keep up the channels?
I will.
Keep that grind going?
Yeah, no, I love doing podcasts. I love talking to people. I love hearing their backstory. See, the whole for my platform, Diaries of Masculine Men, we go and interview extraordinary people that have had these whether they're a professional athlete or some movie star, some extraordinary thing, but we break down the story to when they weren't that. and we find out how they got from like being the average, ordinary, everyday person to where they're at. And we kind of focus on that whole, because there's a lot of parallels when you do that 100 times. You talk to 100 people that are super successful, but you backtrack it down to like before they weren't. There's these common features that each one of them have, and then like taking those little, those little things that you've learned and these characteristics that you need to be successful, and then kind of like, revisiting it that way. That's kind of like how we focus our stories on, But we've interviewed a ton of guys, and we started getting into women because like there were a ton of cool women's stories. Or we just didn't interview girls. It was Diaries of Masculine Men. It was a men's podcast. Like we didn't really have women on the thing, but like one worked their way into it, and then you hear one cool chick story, and then you want to hear another one. And so now it's kind of like Diaries of Cool People. I just haven't changed it. I don't know what to call it now.
It's cool when chicks are cool.
There's a couple of them out there. I've had some pretty crazy stories.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, man, I've got a couple more people that I want to feed you that you might enjoy, Yeah.
Yeah, very appreciative of meeting, like, hooking us up with Joey. Yeah. That was amazing.
I can't wait to see the episode. You have to let me know when it comes out.
I think it's next. It's on deck.
Oh, I can't wait.
So we put one out today at 8:30. So
we'll have him put it on his social media. It'll go viral. There you go. There's your first viral video.
Yeah. Yeah. He was so interesting because I can see where I feel like he said, you want to run it as this. And I'm like, no, we're running it as what you are. Like, you are in a crazy position to be hosting these people that want to play $1 million for fun on the weekend. Like, that's their hobby.
Yeah.
So very humble guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just imagine the level of money around to do the way he does.
Yeah.
He carpools, if you want to call it carpooling, from here to Vegas. I mean, like, he spends like $30,000 a year in flights.
Yeah. There's a hilarious video on his Instagram. I thought about sending it to him, but he's like walking in after you guys set up his house.
Oh, for the little party. Yeah.
I don't know if he knows that there's like a reflection in the mirror, and so he's got no shirt on, and he's just like in his whitey tighties. Yeah. He's got like, it's fucking funny.
He don't care.
No, I figured, but it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
What a great guy. Yeah, I meant your channels, though, for the real estate.
Oh, I thought you meant my social media channels.
No, I want you to start the Diaries of a Masculine Men back up, for sure. Especially with your setup, all your equipment and stuff.
I'm telling you, I'm curious on the real estate side. I'll be curious to see where my little TikTok goes with these crazy houses I've been touring, because we just went through the most expensive house. I went through the most expensive house on the market. Like, there's nowhere. Where do you go from there? I don't have anywhere to go.
I think you start doing the worst house.
I thought about that. Someone suggested that. Go to the cheapest one on the market and like do a walkthrough of that.
Nice shit.
Yeah. It's basically, you just got to be ready to roast them. Like, if you roast it, put a good roast on the house, people they just tune in for the negative.
Yeah, and you know what? You see a house roasted, maybe you're like, hey, that's not that bad, though. I could fix that up. Yeah, this is only $60,000.
I guess I'm going to have to do that. I don't know what it would be like to be a full-time content creator, constantly coming up with like what your next angle is,
Yeah, it's so much work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a little assistant.
Yeah.
Or like the company needs one to go around with everyone,
Yeah.
It's a big market.
Imagine
to have
being like
shit
a Mr.
online.
Beast.
Yeah.
That's a story.
The Ken Lain games.
I'll never be that famous.
I don't think you want to.
I don't think so either.
I want to be like just famous enough where maybe I can get some free supplements.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to be super famous. I got too many skeletons in my closet. Do people be digging at my past? Like, it'd be a fucking train wreck.
And the anxiety you have until they're all exposed.
I know. That's a real thing.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, what else? Anything else you got on your agenda?
No, this has been fun, though.
This has been a fucking blast, dude.
Yeah.
Hands down, one of my favorites.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we'll post your TikTok channel and your Instagram in there so they can see your take on real estate.
Yeah, come check it out.
You are one of the most amazing guys. I hope you know that, dude. Your personality is really beautiful, and I've enjoyed working with you. I've known you for coming up on 8 years now.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, and you always answer my calls and talk to me. We have phenomenal conversations, and I think we had another one here today.
Awesome, brother. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, dude. You're the best, man.
Thank you.
Take care.